What's up, guys? Welcome to Move to Action. Listen, do not close this video, you bunch of turds. Listen, I know on Netflix you can skip the intros and stuff, but the retention on some of these videos is terrible. Listen, this is worth investing 5 minutes of your life, okay? So let me encourage you. I really think that God has something in this for you. That's the reason that we do these videos, in hopes that God will move you to action so that you can achieve the great things that He's called you to. A life of moving to action is one that will change the world. So hey, stay tuned, stay logged in to what God has for you, whether you're watching this on YouTube or IGTV. Now, the topic for today is that your favor affects others. Your favor affects others. Now, there's the silly illustration where locally there's a marble slab and a bunch of our students work there, and I have eaten a significant amount of ice cream. I mean significant amount of free ice cream. And I got that because they had favor with their manager, it wasn't a big deal, whatever. Now, a bigger deal, this one's bigger. So when I travel, if I travel, go on work trips or whatever, if I travel on my own, I don't have any status. I don't have TSA pre-check, I'm not a medallion member, whatever, because I don't fly enough. But if I fly with my dad or with my brother, they're both TSA pre-check, which means you don't have to take your laptop out, you don't have to take your belt off, your shoes off, or any of that stuff. You just get to walk through, the line's shorter, you are special. But I personally don't have those things. However, if I book my ticket with them, I get all of their perks. I get to go into their lounges and everything. Their favor affects me. Now that's a great perk. But what about spiritually? What about relationally? I think that this thought spreads. I think it's just a tenet of life. The people you're around, their favor, right? It can be negative. Their favor, or maybe their lack thereof, affects others, right? So there's a guy in the Bible named Paul, and I've rolled across 2 times recently where his favor affects all the people around because of the life that he lived. The first time I saw it was in Acts 16. This is 27 through 29. And you may have seen this or read this. You should read it. The whole thing is great. But this is when Paul and Silas are singing worship music, all that stuff, and then an earthquake comes and God breaks open all the prisons, right? All the doors are open, all that stuff. And so the jailer, it says the jailer woke up, and when he saw that all the prisoner doors were open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself because he thought the prisoners had escaped. All the doors were open, so he was just going to kill himself. But Paul shouted, "Don't harm yourself. We are all here." The jailer called for the lights, rushed in, fell trembling before Paul and Silas, and asked, "What must I do to be saved?" Now, this is crazy. Paul, because of the favor he had, because of the life that he lived, even for a short amount of time, when all of these criminals, because they literally were criminals, whenever the gates busted open, they stayed. And I can't help but infer from this passage that it's because of Paul. And Paul had this favor. He saved the jailer's life, and then he got to lead the jailer to Christ and his family. His favor affected others, not just in the temporal, the here on earth, but for eternity. And then we see it again a little bit later in Acts. In Acts 27:43, it says this. Whenever Paul, when he's on his way to Rome, right, and it's going to be his last trip, he's on his way, they're on a boat, he's a prisoner, and this boat runs aground, right? And the centurion, he says, well, we're just going to kill all the prisoners so that none escape. That's real life. But then he says this in 27:43. But the centurion wanted to spare Paul's life and kept them from carrying out their plan. He ordered that those who could swim jump overboard. So what happened is none of the prisoners were killed because he wanted to keep Paul alive. So let me ask you, the life that you're living, is it a life of favor, so much so that it's affecting others? Not only that, but the people who are mentoring you, are they people that their favor is affecting you in a positive way? Because we're supposed to have people leading the way for us in the way that God wants us to go. Good mentors, fathers and mothers, spirits will lead us that way. But also behind us, we're supposed to be making the way for people. No matter how old you are, what your station in life is, you are a way maker. So here's what I want you to do, the move to action step. I need you to take inventory in 2 places. Who's your mentor? Sorry, who's your mentor? Who is letting you feed off their favor? That's good right there. Feed off their favor. And who in your life is feeding off of your favor? If you're living your life strictly for you, you are not honoring God. Let me say that one time. If you're living your life strictly for you, you are not honoring God. Let's live lives where our favor affects others. Let's live life where our favor provides sustenance for people to feed on. So move to action step. Take inventory of two places. Who's your mentor, spiritual father or mother? Are you pursuing them? Are you getting close enough to them to feed off their favor? And then two, who is feeding off your favor? Who is your favor affecting? Guys, I love you. Let's live this life. Let's move to action, change the world. I love you. I'll see you next week.